J. Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush and Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. We got Mike and Steve behind the glass. There's only 5 of us here today. It's one of the lowest totals we've ever had.
Small crowd.
Behind the scenes and in front of the camera combined.
G. Bush the biggest in the game. It don't matter.
I like this jacket,
You like
bro.
that, man?
You're a two-spot equivalent?
Where you getting this from?
Yeah.
With the C on the back.
For a second, when I thought when you walked in, I thought it was a Washington Commanders.
So this been the whole thing. You gonna come in with new kicks and new jackets every day, new hats?
I ain't saying every day. Dustin, he's trying to see.
Y'all funny with that.
So Dustin is trying to tell me that he said he was gonna come with the Deons, the primes, right? Mm-hmm. And I said
what? Dustin might be the only Caucasian person that could get away with wearing the Deons like that.
Yeah, like he gets that off. Like
seriously, because he played corner, so like corner. I respect it.
I respect it. You know what I'm saying? But I will say Dustin only got to do it two days out of the week. You know what I'm saying?
What about Christian McCaffrey? Wait a second. Can Christian McCaffrey get away?
No.
Not running back? No. Oh, it's got to be a corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's real. Like he's not. Christian McCaffrey don't got no flavor like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay. His lifestyle is like still. Yeah, I'm a white dude. Yeah. Don't get a white dude lifestyle. I got a white dude. I got a supermodel wife, girlfriend. She would not let me go out with that.
Yeah, that's true.
She didn't let them come out with no gym shoes. They can't even
Travis Kelce. Can Travis Kelce get off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Travis
He's
Kelce,
stamped.
No, first of all, Travis Kelce get off whatever he want.
He from Cleveland, so
he can get off whatever.
Like he be up there like he be dancing and everything. Like, come on, Travis Kelce, he's stamped.
So if Dustin come back with something, I feel you. Listen, it's 2 days. I've been doing 5 days.
You said that same thing with me.
That's true.
But here's the thing. I'm doing 5 days now. I'm doing 5 days.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to catch up 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got it's
That's
in the
fair.
tuck. It's in the tuck.
That is not fair. Oh, don't pity him.
But I'm not gonna repeat.
He the one that starts it.
I'm not gonna repeat. Don't worry about it. He got a long way to go.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get back into that because, listen, first of all.
You don't want to get back in, Thomas?
For what? I've already proved my point.
The consensus
Dustin
or
no.
The consensus.
No. Who told you that lie?
The chat.
The chat lying. No, you wasn't even close.
The chat.
You wasn't even
had
close.
Me down. I believe it was like 72%.
I tell you what. Speaking of shoes, though, listen. Mike, he fell back in 24. I ain't gonna lie. Mike really didn't drop no heat like that. Next year, you better save every check because he dropping every shoe that you ever wanted. You seen the lineup for 25?
You're talking about McNuggets.
No.
I said,
Jordan.
Yeah, I was like, where McNuggets?
Mike, the real 23. He after me, outside of me. But no, Mike Jordan is dropping every
He got some
banger of a shoe he ever made to come out in 25.
He got some stuff.
Woo!
All right, guys, we got obviously a lot of heat to get to here today. Later, the Guardians win again, sweep the White Sox, and we'll also start previewing the game against Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. We'll start doing that pretty close to the beginning.
I don't like. You got to say it with some more enthusiasm.
Yeah, that was.
I'm feeling a little down.
A lot of people are, but man,
all right, we got to get it going against Jacksonville.
It was a limp handshake. It was like this.
Yeah, I can't deny it. It was a bit of a limp handshake. You're right. That's fair.
We'll get into it.
All right. To be honest, the reason it was kind of limp is because I wasn't sure what I was getting to there. I couldn't remember another topic we're doing late in the show.
Okay.
If I take you behind the scenes,
you got to get on your Shannon Sharp and go ahead and pop you something. And get the word.
I'm not putting any pornos out there. And by the way,
my boy Shannon Sharp.
By the way, who is stupid?
I heard his work.
obviously, we know there's a lot of stupid people out there that will be suckered and conned into believing almost anything. Eat the cats, eat the cats. But Shannon Sharpe trying to pretend that he didn't put that out there on purpose.
Well, his reasoning was bad. He said, I
bed.
came home and I threw my phone on the bed and it just got on there.
Yeah, I mean, give me a break.
Now listen, I'm gonna just tell y'all something right now. Depending on who that happens to, it's either funny or devastating. What happens if somebody else accidentally did that?
Yeah, but there's no way he accidentally did that.
Who is the other person? Yeah. Who is your hypothetical?
Listen, we gonna talk about a lot of things today. Don't listen. The hypothetical. That's funny how it works. Because if it's somebody else, it'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She's right.
You gotta go. They gotta go today. If Shannon Sharpe. What you mean, like who? What did we talk about for the last 5 years?
You mean Trump?
No, well, that too. He's out of there too. Right?
Nah, Trump did that. He probably go up in the polls.
They're like, man, he got some work. Hey, who said he ain't got no work? He's up for the challenge.
But I don't know who you talking about. Oh, Deshaun?
Yeah.
Oh, God, if that was Deshaun, it'd be a disaster.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's just that I think it's funny like that.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I'll go ahead, Big
Mike, who has studied the Shannon Sharpe tape carefully, we'll send it to him.
His live stream last night talking about the live had over 100,000 live viewers at once. It did 1.4 million views in like 30 minutes.
Sure it did.
And he signed a Viagra deal between the time the video went out and his live stream at night.
Oh,
why was he having a problem with an erection in the video?
No, well, it was not. It's like a knockoff Viagra. So I don't know if he was using it during the.
Didn't he show that when he was talking to Ocho? He showed the 3-packs of the stuff he got. He said, Ocho, I'll be on this. I'm telling you.
How is Ocho on that show? Is he good?
Very funny.
Yeah, they both hilarious.
It's worth a listen. They are entertaining as hell. So, all right. Let's get to the show. We got a lot of topics to get to. A lot of Browns news, a lot of Guardians stuff to talk about. And we have a Jaguars guest, Tony Wiggins, joining us later in the show. But we start, as always, with FanDuel. You guys have heard us talk about FanDuel a lot. It is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now we have a little something different for you guys. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and our current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download America's #1 sportsbook. Deshaun Watson spoke to the media yesterday, Bull, and we'll get to the off-the-field stuff in a second. I want to start with the on-the-field stuff first. Deshaun had one quote that stuck out to me, and I want to get your guys' reaction to this. Deshaun was asked about the offensive struggles in Week 1 and responded with this. Quote, "It's going to be a work in progress for sure. It might take a couple of weeks. We might find our identity this week." Bull, Tyvis, what say you in response to this statement from Deshaun Watson?
Well, I mean, one, when you got a new offensive minds in there, of course it's going to take some time. You was hoping that those would be things that was ironed out, over OTAs, over training camp. Obviously, he was limited in those bases and stuff like that, but they got you better figure it out sooner than later. That's the thing. This isn't something that can linger. Now, we get into the NFL, and usually Week 1 is always chaotic. I'll know that Week 1 is not the total picture of what you're going to see. As bad as it is, or even as good as it is, Week 1 is just wild at times. But as you get to 2 and 3, you better figure it out. That's the thing. You can't keep messing around trying to, it's going to take a couple of weeks. No. You need to figure this out. At least by the end of this game, you better have been successful in something that you've done, whether that's running the ball, whether that's passing the ball. You have to have some success in something and start to form your identity, especially when you go up against some of these opponents. It's good competition. Obviously, when you think about the past game, they're putting Tyson Campbell on IR, who's their best cover corner. So that should open up some opportunity there for them to be able to be effective. But you ain't got that much time. Like, if you get down in the AFC, it's a wrap. So you better figure it out sooner than later.
This is all bad. It's bad work right here. This is one of them things where sometimes in life you should actually not tell the truth. If your wife asks you, hey, you can't walk up to your wife and be like, hey man, guess what happened today? I ran across my ex, man, and she had the nerve to be looking good, babe. No. That may be true. She might have been in the gym on the Ozempic, whatever the case may be. You keep that to yourself, dog. And in this case, you keep all these, it's going to be a work in progress, it's to yourself. Matter of fact, you might want to just wish and pray that it and hope and wish upon a star that it happens and you already clicking right now, like on Thursday.
But to me, I feel like this is one of those things that you throw out there just to be like, if just in case it look bad, I want y'all to know that we still a work in progress.
There is no option for that.
I'm just saying. That's
nobody wants to hear that.
No, they don't. Yeah. What I'm saying,
right?
He gonna be like, "Well, I said that it's still a work in progress."
That would have been a great way to talk about it, like against Seattle preseason.
I'm just saying,
like Seattle preseason.
Well, they opted out of that.
Well, now you got 2 weeks to get this done. Right. Oh, you still got the Cowboys game, the first game. Right now, ain't nobody trying to hear like nothing you really trying to say, period, about a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's true too.
And nah, bro, that quarterback speech you gave right there, the only thing people want to hear is, hey, listen, this team, we had a lot of mistakes week one. This team is very talented, and the way we came out and played last week was not indicative of who we are as a team. We got to come out this year and execute at a much higher level. I think our coaching staff is working, and our players are working to do that. Look at that answer. I'm not even a quarterback. I don't even have no PR people. Look how easy that is. I put it on me. I got to get my guys ready to be better.
That's actually how he should have just did it. Like
See,
100%.
You got to put it on yourself. Like
this answer is terrible. I don't know what he's thinking. It has sounded like nothing but excuses since the game. And even though some of the things that have been mentioned are legit, the man's father passed away. I think whether you like Deshaun Watson or not, on some level you're going to understand, oh, that probably affected him. Did his friend die, or did something happen to his friend?
Yeah.
A friend, on a human level, yes, we're all going to get it. But when you bring these things up, fair or not, like whether they're legitimate or not, doesn't matter. It sounds like you're making excuses for why you didn't play well and why the team didn't play well. And there are none.
I will tell you this, as a player, there's one rule that everybody knows. You can have issues off the field. Your body could be hurting.
Yeah.
You might not know everything in the playbook. You put that helmet on and you walk on that field. Ain't nobody hearing it.
That's right. When Baker played
once
last
you
year.
decide to go out there, you are 100% healthy and fine. That's what that tells.
100% right, and I'm glad you said that as a former player, because that whole year that Baker played that last season, every game he played poorly, half the fan base, oh, he's hurt. And then he'd have a good game every once in a while, even when he was dealing with the injury, and then you never heard about him being hurt those weeks. So in that year, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear the excuses from Baker, and I don't want to hear the excuses from Deshaun. You got to go out and play better. That's it.
I was looking at it like from this standpoint, and I thought, what's his name? We had him on yesterday.
Sean King.
Yeah. I thought he said something. Like, when you look at Deshaun Watson, his demeanor is kind of different. Like, he's more laid back. He's more like let the game come to him type person. And sometimes you want people to be who they are, but sometimes you got to have a level of urgency, the fierce urgency of today. And sometimes you got to realize what type of time other people on and be able to read the tea leaves. Like, yeah, I know you want to be, not show too up, too down, all that good stuff. But sometimes, you do got to come and light a fire on somebody's ass in practice. Mm-hmm. You do have to say, listen, guys, like when I watched the greats, I watched Tom Brady. That's why we was mad at Tom Brady in the way he was calling that game. Because Tom Brady has been on the sidelines fiery with Josh McDaniels and offensive coordinators and receivers and all linemen.
Yeah.
We saw what Peyton Manning did and eviscerated Vanderjagt. He was just like, you kicker. He told his center, you shut up and block.
Yeah, right.
You shut your mouth and block. I'll do the talking around. He's like, all right, you got it, dog. Sometimes, and I know this is not his thing, and you know, sometimes that you're not in a position where you had enough success to do that, but you're going to have to try something different. I don't know the last time he's really faced any adversity. In college, his team was very good, loaded, and was in the championship contention all the time. When he was in Houston, his teams weren't always the best, but he was putting up superhuman numbers. So, yeah, it's adversity, but not really, because you can always say, I'm nice. This is the first time I ever think where he's actually questioning whether or not I'm good and where I go from here.
Well, my thing with that is, this is the thing. If this doesn't work out, this might be it. Like that's the thing. Like, if I know, like, this is my only opportunity to be in the league, and like, based off how I play, if it don't work out here, I'm done. Like, why wouldn't I be locked in? Like, that's what more motivation do you need there? And then on top of all of the things, everybody responds differently to adversity.
Sure.
You know, there's some people that you got to go over there. You got to be kind when you talk to them. Hey, don't worry, we get it next play. Don't worry about it. We gonna be good. Don't worry, keep your head up. But then there's other people like, dude, what you doing? Like, bro, we paying you, but what's going on, bro? Like, let's get it going. Like, there's certain people that respond better to that.
Yeah.
I was one of them. If you talk to me crazy, I'm going to click and it's a wrap. Now, you going to get what you want. That's me, though. You talk to me crazy, you going to find what you're looking for.
I know you've seen this on Instagram, that it was I think it was the Houston Texans, or it was a team, and it was a rookie, and it was another free safety that was an older guy. He said, listen, he kept saying, my bad, messing up. And the veteran kept being like, no, it ain't no my bad, bro. Yeah. Just get it done, bro. And the dude kept arguing. He was like, bro, it's not, listen, if this happened in the game, they going to cut both our asses.
That's a fact.
They're going to get rid of both of us, bro. We cannot do that. And I think the urgency level, Bull, he need to go talk to somebody like Kaepernick. Somebody need to tap him on the shoulder and realize, like, Kaepernick talk about, I'm still trying to get you a job. Bro, that's done.
Yeah, that's so weird.
You better take that job from Harbaugh as a receivers coach or something that he offered you. You not getting back nowhere in no league. And a lot of times people don't understand the time they be on. Right now, if this don't work out for you, you got a bunch of people and owners in the league that say, I don't even like the fact that you got a guaranteed deal and the Browns gave it to you, and I don't like the fact that you sat out a year. They not going. Who's gonna give him a backup? Like,
no, if he plays poorly this year, and if he's throwing a potential suspension either sometime this year or next, if that happens, his career is over probably. Yeah, he's going to be rich. I mean, he's going to have enough money for the rest of his life. As long as he's going to, blow it, there's a 99% chance he'll have enough money for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And if that's good enough for him, maybe, I don't know. Sean, one of the other things Sean King said yesterday, we were talking about why quarterback play seems to be down the last couple of years overall, not just Watson, but overall it's a little bit down, right? And he thinks it's because, or part of it is because not every quarterback, but the top 20 quarterbacks all get paid so much money, whether they deserve it like Patrick Mahomes or not. Like the mid-tier quarterbacks get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he thinks that some of these guys, that's because they're making so much money, maybe some of these guys don't care as much. And he didn't say that specifically about Watson or anybody. But
I said that a long time ago. I said you truly find out if a player really cares about this game once they get paid. Once you get paid, once you know, like, all right, my family's settled, all right, Am I okay with that? Because a lot of the time the mentality is I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this to get money for my family, blah, blah, blah. But then there's people that's like, all right, I got the money, but I want to be great. I want to be the best to ever do it. That's the special
They're
talent.
motivated by that.
Exactly. Like, all right, I got the bag. I'm secure. But, like, I want to leave a legacy. I want people to be like, I want them to mention me up there with Tom Brady and Patty Mahomes. Like, that's what I'm chasing. I'm chasing rings and stuff like that. And some people get the bag and they get content. It is what it is.
I'm curious, of the players you played with, obviously you don't know for sure, but if you had to guess, of the players you played in the NFL with, what percentage of them do you think they get paid and they don't really care that much anymore?
Well, I tell you right now, in Seattle, everybody that I played with in Seattle was like, I want to be great. Like
so it didn't matter. They got paid.
Yeah, they got paid, but
they were still playing.
Because I had this conversation in Seattle. I actually I was talking to Sherm about it because he had got paid. He had signed for like $40 million or something like that. And I was like, dude, what does it feel like to have like $40 million?
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I want $40 million again. That's just nothing. Like I want more. Like if I can get, he thought to myself, if I could get 40 now, just imagine if I keep getting better, I can get more money. Like that was the mentality that he had, Cam, Earl, everybody in that secondary had.
But you know what's weird? You know what's crazy? Like I forget who was talking about this, and money is relative, right? And what I found out, like, and this is even just on a smaller little level. Like when you grow up and you like, all right, I'm worried about what I'm eating or gas money, or you growing up and you like, you know, I don't got school clothes or whatever, and you can't have anything that you want, right? You got to wait on it and you got to do things. As you get older and you start making more money and you reach the peak where your earning potential is as a individual in the workforce. You do certain things. You're like, okay. You're like, oh, I always wanted to go on a trip to this place, and then you go.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted to drive this car, and then
not Tyvus. He don't go anywhere.
Well,
that's a fact. I don't want to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Or if you drive, you drive this car,
right?
Like, or even dumb things like this, like dumb things like shoes, right? You're like, oh, listen, when I was younger, I didn't get them, and then what happens when you get every pair of shoes that you ever had or you couldn't get, right? Then something happens to you. You start to realize, like, well, hold on, this isn't that new or fun after a while. Like when you don't have to think about what you're eating, and if you wanted to, you can go out to eat all the time. Then you really start to figure out what your purpose is. And a lot of people, in my opinion, don't have an idea of what their purpose is past I'm comfortable and I got a monetary sum of money and my family is good. Then you got to find out, why am I on the earth, right? And for some of these people, they like Tyvus said, they only got into the game because it was the best way to maximize off their God-given ability. But is that really what you're here to do? Is that really what you're going to maximize on? And so a lot of times people don't get it until it's gone. Like Tyvus, you know, like I dream, I have crazy dreams, and my dreams is all about playing, because there's this unfulfilled thing inside your stomach that says, I didn't maximize what God gave me. And if you could put it on one day, or you could just, you know, play and just have one or two more plays, every player that didn't make it or every player that didn't retire on their own terms feel that way. And a lot of people don't get that until it's too late, and then the opportunity is taken and they say, wow, I didn't maximize what I was supposed to do. And I hope that he don't do that, because, you know, there has to be a level of urgency and people around him telling him, listen, it's fight or flight right now, man. And these games, these 17, 16 games you got, these is the only ones guaranteed to you. The only ones. So make the most of them, and at least if you left it on the field and we come out to find out that you're washed and you're done, at least you can say, well, look, I gave it all I had. I was washed. I got injured.
At the end of the day, that's what you better do.
That's
all I got.
That's how I'm able to smile. Like I did everything I was supposed to do to try to make it in there. I just wasn't good enough. Like that is what it is. But for him, he got an even better motivational factor, because yes, you got the money, all that is fine and cool, but the team and the organization that you're playing for, like, it means so much more than anywhere else. Like you win it here, you won a Super Bowl here in Cleveland. Dude, like your legacy is through the roof. That means you won on every level and you did it in Cleveland. So to me, that's why I would have been like, yeah, I got to find a way to make it worse. Even if I don't make it, if I made it to the AFC Championship, they're going to look at me like that. To do that in Cleveland, it's like 10 times anywhere else.
I put this up like, you know, the blog is up. I did Ultimate Browns, and I said,
yeah, y'all make sure y'all go stream that.
How Baker Joe Flacco and Deshaun Watson caused a civil war within the Browns fan base.
Yeah.
And one of the things, that was a great title. That was a beautiful
It is
title.
actually a great title.
That was a great. I was like, damn, I got to go back and watch that myself. That was fire.
G is the king. He's the king of headlines.
Like that.
You had one last week. Was it last week?
Shannon Sharp's incredible reversal on the Browns national media outlook.
That was a great one.
I was like, man, but the people are clamoring for anything. Joe Flacco was a longtime rival. Joe Flacco played for the team that we hate that used to be the Browns. Joe Flacco came off the couch with very few fanfare. Nobody cared about it. People wanted DTR to play. And Joe Flacco, in a couple of games, came out there and stole the hearts of the fan base.
How many games did he play? 5?
I think 5.
The dude,
Well, 6 including the playoffs, I think.
He was 5-1 in the regular season.
Oh, so 7.
No, 4-1 in the regular season, 4-2 overall, including the playoffs.
6 games.
he came in.
6 games.
You go
And that man
back
can
and
throw
watch.
his wallet away.
He's
6
done.
games.
He was done. I read the article with him and his wife. They come in places and people is just
Applaud them. Yeah.
standing ovation.
Said a coffee place or something like that, right?
Like they waiting for you, bro.
Yeah.
All you got to do is put. A lot of people and get it. All the allegation stuff,
it's real.
The allegations look crazy and wild, and people gonna be on you today. But you go out there and you play and leave it on the line and give them a glimpse, just a shadow of hope. They're gonna be like, "Oh, we right back on it."
But it's the he got to make it look like he actually cares. Like
body
don't get
language is bad.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Standing in there, delivering passes, taking shots, that's some tough stuff. Like
Definitely.
a lot of quarters were like, forget this, get the dude, get Jameis in there, I'm cool. But like, you got to have some more emotion to it. Like, for example, DTR. DTR is a guy, third string guy, but when he's out there, this man is running, sacrifice, jumping over people. I mean, you can tell that the passion to play the game is there. And with DY, like, I know you're a competitor, but like, it just don't look like it. Like, it's like you don't have nothing to you. It's like it's no energy to you. Like even with Jacoby get the first down and he like it meant something.
I would listen. Trust me, I get it. Some would argue if your dad passed away today, I don't care what your relationship with him like it is. Losing a parent is one of the toughest things in the world, and it's very hard to get over that mentally. Friends, losing one of your close friends, difficult. And then plus, on top of it, you living in a place where you don't know how many people that, hey, and this is, I'm not being cynical here. He probably thinking at this point, man, listen, the girl I kissed in 5th grade, she might pull up and say, hey, listen, I didn't want that. You was behind the monkey bars, and that wasn't cool. Like, he thinking like, this can happen at any given time, any given place. When you think you over it, it's not. It's the specter. It hangs over you, and I get that. But to play the game of football, and I learned when you're losing a bunch, it happens like that and your body hurting, you have to play the game with joy.
Yeah.
If you don't got that's your strength. If you don't play the game with joy
or confidence,
the game is miserable. What do you have to look forward to? Your body hurting, concussions, and you can still lose after you put that much work in preparation in during the week? It's hard to get up and do it again, but that's the prerequisite. He has to find the joy to go out there and play.
Yeah, it has seemed like he's miserable when he's playing.
But it should
may not be true, but
football should be. Sundays is an scapegoat from reality. Like, yeah, all this stuff is going on in your life, but man, when that ball kicked off, none of that matters. For 60 minutes, none of that matters. It's one time for one day that nothing else matters right now but this game and trying to win this game. Like that, and that you gotta appreciate those moments.
And when the game is over, obviously that's when you're thinking about the off the field stuff, like his dad, like his friend, and of course the latest allegation, which he did speak about yesterday, Mike.
Yeah, we'll hear that shot in 1 second, but first, football is finally back, which means it's time to order your favorite game day food, snacks, and drinks on DoorDash without missing a play. There is nothing worse than showing up to your buddy's house to watch a football game, and he has no snacks. The snack cabinet's dry. He has no drinks. The fridge is empty, and you're just sitting around looking at each other like, why in the world did we come over here? Well, thankfully, Those problems are coming to an end because DoorDash has your answer and solution to all of those issues with the DoorDash app. You can order any kind of food you want, any kind of snack, drinks, etc. And the best part about DoorDash is it's hooked up to almost every restaurant and convenience store in Cleveland. So if you're anywhere in the Cleveland area and also nationwide, DoorDash has you covered. And right now, if you use promo code LOCKEDFALL24, you get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. It's a limited time offer. Terms apply. Promo is not valid for orders containing alcohol. DoorDash, your door to game day greatness, your door to more. Download the DoorDash app now to order your game day favorites. You must be 21 or older to order alcohol. Drink responsibly. Alcohol available only in select markets. Bull, you mentioned those off-field allegations. We got a little more update to what we talked about yesterday in terms of the off-field saga with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun was asked about it at his press conference, specifically when he learned of said allegations, and here's how Deshaun answered that question.
Did you have any idea that this lawsuit was coming when you were playing Sunday?
No, sir. I found out exactly whenever everyone else found out.
So Deshaun says he found out on Monday, just like the rest of us, via social media. A few hours later, Tony Busby, the attorney defending the woman who is pressing the complaint, released a statement. Remember, Rusty Hardin released a statement on Tuesday. This is Tony Busby's statement on Wednesday. Tony Busby says, quote, "We reached out to attorney Rusty Hardin's office for 10 months in an attempt to resolve this case. We knew this case was the most serious and egregious case brought against Watson to date, and our client, who is rightfully traumatized by these events, wanted to attempt a private resolution. We thought that was the best approach given the media storm that occurred surrounding the legion of other claims. Unfortunately, Watson's team, or maybe his lawyers, couldn't or wouldn't give this case the attention it was due. Mr. Hardin has now tried to contact us since we filed suit. Unfortunately, we see that now as too little too late. But we are officers of the court, and we will give Mr. Hardin and his esteemed team the respect he has earned, and it will work with him to progress this case in an efficient manner. With regard to whether Deshaun Watson knows who this woman is, I hope that that's his defense. He is well aware of what he did. This case is strong, and now that we are going to have filed it, we will pursue it with vigor. We have heard from the NFL. We will respond in due course. Finally, you should know that although I wasn't aware of her claims, Mr. Watson was well aware of this victim and her claims immediately after it occurred, and Watson was reminded back when we filed the first lawsuit for other multiple victims. I wasn't part of that. I can understand, given the number of women that Mr. Watson has interacted with, that he could forget some or many of them. However, given the nature of this alleged conduct in the case, I expect this incident is something he wouldn't soon forget. We look forward to a trial by jury," end quote. So Deshaun says he found out Monday. Jane Doe's attorney says they've been trying to reach Deshaun Watson and his team for 10 months. Someone's lying in this instance. We have no idea who. But it seems like this saga is never going to end.
Yeah, I'm surprised he answered any questions at all because, we talked about this and his lawyer put it out a statement. So I'm surprised he even answered that. But I guess that's, I don't know. If he knew beforehand that it comes out that he knew, you don't want to get caught in a lie is all I'm saying. I don't. Maybe he didn't know. And maybe Rusty Hardin knew but kept it from him. I think that's possible.
Yeah, I think, look.
I don't think it matters whether he knew or not. But
the most interesting part that I see in that thing is the part where he says he looks for by a trial by jury.
She does it,
right?
Well, it's her lawyer.
Yeah, so that's what her lawyer says. So for me, okay, that's you're right and entitled to that. If I'm a person who is standing by my innocence and I'm saying that I didn't do it, okay, let's go to trial. Well, because I'm not at some point, we got to come to a resolution, and it's very easy to say, all right, well, I'm gonna go settle out of court. Obviously, settling out of court is not something that has stopped the allegations from coming, right? So, if someone is alleging that I'm doing something, let's have a conversation about, all right, what happened, and that's what our system is about, trial by jury. So let's talk about it and let's get to it. I don't know when it's going to happen,
but
it's not
going to be for a while.
It might not be for a while, but I mean, Tyvis, wouldn't you want that?
I mean, this is.
Hey, Ty, hold on.
1 second.
We have a little bit of breaking news on this exact topic real quick. According to Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, in a statement issued to Pro Football Talk by Tony Busby, says, quote, "We intend to interview with the NFL in 2 weeks. This coming week, however, I have to go to the Coast Guard hearings in South Carolina regarding the Titans' submissible implosion because I represent a victim's family from that. When I return, I intend to make my client available for interview along with 2 individuals who spoke to her immediately after the assault. I also have video to share that will be pertinent to this case," end quote.
Oh.
That was literally 3 minutes ago from Pro Football Talk and Mike Florio.
That's interesting. I wonder who those individuals are. Are they
No
police
idea.
officers?
No
Are
other
they
context than
friends?
what I just read.
I don't know.
But yeah, if I'm him and I continue to say that I'm innocent and I done nothing wrong, yeah, go ahead, take it. Let's take it to trial so I could go ahead and prove that I was good, that I was innocent, that I did none of this. And I think that maybe I don't know if that'll change a lot of people's perspective about the other cases that he settled from, but in this one, which is one of the most alarming ones that he has, if he's proven innocent on this one, then like people was gonna be like, all right, at least you're not calling him a rapist,
Right.
The problem in terms of any potential vindication, if he is innocent, is that in these court cases, most of the time, in most cases, you're found not guilty. Maybe there's not enough evidence, or whatever. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's not a criminal trial, so there's not going to be a guilt or innocence. Essentially, yes, if the jury finds against you, then they're saying they think you did it, and if they find for you, they're saying they don't think you did it.
They could throw it out too.
There's probably not going to be a situation where, well, I shouldn't say probably not. In most cases, it's not, even if you win as the defendant, it's not 100% clear that you are innocent. And so unless there are some facts that prove his innocence, which is not necessarily fair, but unless that happens, he's not going to change public opinion for the most part.
The public opinion. So, I've always stated on this.
Yeah.
We only got what we base our lives on. One of them is, did I criminally do something? Right? If the criminal justice system says I didn't do it, okay, cool. Let's go civilly. If I win the civil case and they say, hey, I was not found liable for that, then I'm going to be honest, I don't give a damn what nobody in the public think. They can kiss my ass.
and that's the attitude everybody should have. Unfortunately for him, we've seen that all of this likely has affected him.
Yes, it does.
And none of this is good for him or the Browns.
It does. And that's why at some point in time, you got to make a stand and say, look, I'm not going to live my life walking around waiting on the next shoe to drop. I didn't go to jail. People do these mental gymnastics about why when the court says that really doesn't necessarily mean that you're innocent. It just means that X, Y, and Z. No. That's why I'm gonna go to a courtroom. I don't care what you say in your living room and about how you figure that you've done the mental gymnastics on it. I would be excited to say, let's go to trial. Because I want a trial with jury members of my peers. That's what this country is built on.
But it didn't happen with the other cases. He settled.
Hey, look, this is more serious, right?
Yeah.
They said they wanted to go to court. The plaintiffs.
Initially, the plaintiffs had said they wanted to go to court, and Deshaun Watson said he wanted to go to court. And neither stood by that. Both sides settled. Now they're both going to say that again here. But if it actually goes to court.
Right. Yeah. But if I'm telling him, how did that work out for you first time? When you was paying all the
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, how did it work out for you?
It didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
No.
So are you gonna pay this person too? Because if you pay her, who's to say Tony Busby? Because I don't know if there's a statute of limitation. I believe it's 5 years, right?
Yeah, well, that's what somebody
said. It could be, but
yeah,
it's 5 years for this.
Okay, correct. So guess what? There could be somebody that comes up next week or next month or whatever the case may be. Yeah. At the end of the day, you just want a resolution to it, right? That's what his team should want, a resolution.
Right, but if I'm him, when he settled in those other cases, I feel like if I were innocent, I wouldn't settle. But again, I'll admit I'm not in that situation, so I don't know for sure what I would do. But in those cases, it was inappropriate behavior that he was being accused of. This, he's essentially being accused of rape.
Okay,
He is. So if he settles here, to some degree, you could argue he's maybe not admitting, but he didn't fight to clear his name on that. So that's a lot more serious to settle for this than those.
Well, but also let's keep in mind.
Yeah.
The goal of civil suits is to get paid. The goal is not to criminally prosecute you, right?
That is correct.
So he's going to use everything in his purview to get his client paid, and that's what his job is, right?
Right.
And so, of course, he already has a timeline. Like the timeline is, okay, well, this is we trying this in public. So yes, she's open for interviews, right? Because while she's doing interviews, guess what? All the allegations, all the details are out there, and guess what? They'll tell him not to say anything.
Right.
Every single time she comes out,
right,
and people hear her testimony, he's sitting back playing football games. And guess what? Public is going to say, I don't know. I don't like what I'm hearing right now.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the pressure is to get Deshaun Watson to say, look, don't you just want to get back to football?
Yeah.
That's
what they're trying to do, sure.
Do you really want to hear all these allegations? You want to hear all the salacious details? Why don't you just go ahead, settle, get it done with, and go on about your life?
Yeah. If I were this woman, again, I was just saying what I would do if I were Watson. I'm not Watson. I'm not in his situation. I'll say it again, if I were this woman, which obviously I can relate to even less. But I would not have hired Tony Busby, even though he is good at his job.
Why?
Because I think there are some people, I am not one of them, but there are some people that will believe her less because he seems so sleazy. If she had hired a different lawyer, I think, and ultimately it doesn't matter. I'm just speaking out loud, and public perception really doesn't necessarily matter. And we may never know who this woman is, especially if they end up settling. But if I were her and this had happened to me, I wouldn't want to go to a lawyer that looks like a sleazeball. And he came off as a sleazeball. He's apparently good at his job,
right? And
I find it impossible to believe that all the women he represented were lying. Doesn't mean some of them weren't, but for me, I find it. But still, even though he may have been helping some victims, he still comes off as sleazy.
Let me ask you, if they went to trial,
yeah,
and it did come out that he was guilty, could criminal charges be brought upon him after that?
Well, I guess
because
sure.
like to me,
I don't know enough.
To me, this is like if this that. Like, that's jail. I'm not, the money
not
ain't
necessarily. OJ was found guilty in civil court.
So basically, it's by the preponderance of evidence. So basically, it's more likely did you do it or did you not do it. So he can lose. And they say 51%, if 51% say you probably did it compared to 49. Only reason I say this is because Donald Trump just went through this type of case.
Yeah.
Not saying that we're comparing the two, but what they're doing is just saying, okay, did it probably happen or not? Criminally, it's more difficult to prove a criminal case and to get a conviction in a criminal case because it's a higher bar standard.
But
it's like guesswork.
But what it is terrible. Like,
I know that, but again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not trying to pretend to be one.
Maybe we get a lawyer on here.
In a civil case, the jury is asked, which side do you believe more, essentially, right? Whereas in a criminal case, they're not asking which side do you believe more.
No, you got to have the evidence.
They're saying, is this person guilty, what's the term? Guilty
beyond a reasonable doubt. Now,
so there could be in a civil case there could be some doubt, but you're like, it's more likely true than not.
That is why it's difficult in these cases because the evidence that you would get, if you don't immediately go and file a case or go get a kit, you don't have the physical evidence you don't have the police report. You don't have any of those things that are concrete that says, I went and took the steps to file a claim that I was physically assaulted.
Now, I guess we don't know for sure that she didn't do those things.
So,
You know, as far as we know, she didn't, but I guess we don't know that for sure. All right, Mike, what do you got for us?
Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the offensive line, the guys that are going to protect Deshaun Watson.
All right, let's move right along.
Get the rape kit from the
offensive line. Yeah, Jet Bills.
I got to do a read first, and this read is about Tyvis. This read's for you, my friend. It's real talk. The only thing worse than losing your hair is waiting for it to grow back forever. That's why you need Hims, and you can start seeing your hair grow back in as little to 3 to 6 months. Hims provides access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. They offer personalized, chewable, oral, spray, and serum treatments so you can find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, so if you feel like you're losing a part of yourself with your hair loss, get Hims and get your confidence back. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/LockedOnNFL. That is hims.com/LockedOnNFL for your personalized hair loss treatment option. hims.com/LockedOnNFL. Results do vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil prescription products. Require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Speaking of the offensive line, as I said before, Bull, Jed Wills and Jack Conklin were both expected to practice today. Conklin went through some individual drills. It did not appear, based on the reports from people at practice, he went through the full 5-on-5 sessions. Jed Wills not seen out there in individual drills. Is it fair to be skeptical that either of those guys will be in uniform again for the Browns at left tackle, and it may have to be James Hudson or Jermaine Ifedi or whoever? Now, do you expect those two to play?
I guess at this point I'm not. If they can't fully practice, why would I expect them to play? No. It's already Thursday. This is from yesterday's practice, not today's yet, right? So they couldn't now, if one of them gets a full practice in today, maybe I'll change my mind, especially Conklin, because at least he's practicing a little. There's no way Jed's playing this week. He hasn't practiced at all.
Even if
Conklin's practiced to some degree for a couple of weeks. But
even if he practiced today,
if Conklin got a full practice,
how much shape you think he in shape to go out there for 4 quarters?
Listen,
probably not, but at least he's been practicing for 2 weeks. Did James Hudson play that bad? I don't know that James Hudson. I think Draymond Jones. And by the way,
Draymond Jones.
Shout out
my boy Draymond from Cleveland.
Shout out St. Ignatius High School.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand, why every time I hear somebody talk about the Browns' offensive line, they're saying 2 backup offensive linemen. You can't call DeJuan Jones a backup offensive lineman.
Because
he's a starter.
Yeah. I mean, that's
because they just keep repeating what everybody else says.
That's right.
Yeah, look, man. This is my theory.
I like this.
This is my theory.
That's already funny to me.
Jed Wills know what it is.
Yeah, he know what it is. Yes, he knows.
Jed Wills know what it is. He at the end of on his 5th year deal, right? He know that. Look, I didn't even play that well when I was in my prime. Jed Wills.
Don't do that.
Jed Wills.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna let you know.
His last couple games was fine.
He trying to ride out on them last couple games. I'm gonna ride out on them boys. I need to keep that tape alive.
You said he watched what Baker did.
Man,
he said, yeah, I'm not.
Man, think about it like this. Think about it like this. If he look, hey, if I go ahead and get this red shirt this year. And be like, look, I didn't even play the whole year. I just had to get my health back. And then now I go back to the free agent market, and guess what? My name got to be mentioned as former first-round pick, played well at the last couple of games, was coming on a little bit. And it looked like the light bulb was going off for him. And then he got the injury, had a couple setbacks. Now he's back. He's been working out. His trainer and his staff, his team is saying that he's lost 15 pounds. He's full of, and guess what? Now you might mess around and you got to get somebody to overpay you at that position.
Who's doing that?
It's a tackle.
Listen to me.
James Hudson.
Anything's possible. That seems like a stretch, though.
Yeah, listen.
Hey, look, man.
It's a great marketing strategy. It really is. At the end of the day,
I didn't say it was going to work.
At the end of the day, listen to me. Put the camera on me. This is what they're going to do.
Go.
Click. That's what they're going to do. They're going to get in there and say, click, roll the tape. Let's see. And they ain't going to say to themselves, is this guy worth top tackle money?
No.
And they're going to say no. Now, he could get a 1-year prove-it deal, which is exactly what he's going to get. Whether that's from the Browns or anybody else, it's going to be
right
a
now,
1-year prove-it deal.
I feel like if he were a free agent right now, he'd get, like this offseason, he'd get like a 1-year, $5 million contract maybe.
Now, here's what's going on.
Yeah.
Most.
Now, watch this. Put the camera on me. If he come back tomorrow out of shape, with bad feet, and tired and ain't played no competition, and he come back against Josh Allen, you know what that tape gonna look like? Put the tape on. Click. Who the hell is that?
Wait a minute.
Put the tape on. Dang, Deshaun Watson gets smacked. Is that Jed? Who is this 71? No, we can't do that.
Are you insinuating?
We can't do that. We can't do that.
Who do we play after?
Giants.
After the Raiders.
Giants, the Raiders, and the Commanders.
So you insinuate he coming back the Commanders?
Oh, that's what I'm insinuating.
So he not going up against Micah Josh.
No,
Max Crosby,
Thibodeau,
Brian Burns.
No. He has already said, I'm redshirting myself for 4 weeks. You're not going to get me because that's smoke.
Coming back the
same time. He said, I'm going to come back with Nick. They done already got a pact. They got a pact.
By the way, on a semi-related note, did you see that video of Max Crosby kind of taking a shot at Nick Bosa?
No, what did he say?
Nick Bosa's the one on the Chargers, right?
No, that's Joey.
Joey. Oh, Joey. I'm sorry. There's this video of Joey Bosa like getting pissed off on the field from getting held.
Yeah.
And he's like screaming at the ref, and he's screaming on the sidelines.
He's out of here too.
And Max Crosby's like, he said that's like I can't remember if he said it's a P move or whatever, something like that. Because he's like, dude, we get held on every play. You just got to suck it up and keep playing. Like, you can't whine about it to everybody. You got to make plays.
You know, Joey Bosa's out of here. But we need to come up, McNuggets, you need to come up with a list of people that still got names but really is out of here.
Whoa. First of all, you gonna cut it out.
Yeah.
You gonna watch your mouth.
Odell Beckham's been in that group for 5 years.
Yeah.
Hey. There will be no Joey Bosa slander on this show.
Bro,
Joey just had a really good week one.
That's a nice top 5 list for you. Nick Bosa's done.
What?
Not Nick, his brother.
Yeah.
Joey. Because he got hurt.
Is Zeke Elliott on that list?
No.
Oh, Zeke Elliott been out of here.
First of all, and I don't.
Michael Thomas?
Been out of here.
Hey, you need to cut that out.
That's too
we just named
Thomas isn't even in the league anymore.
We just named in 2015 Buckeyes.
Listen, first of all,
that's crazy.
That
is kind of.
You know what? When I first seen Zeke jump over Denzel,
nice. Yeah.
I said that's Buckeye on Buckeye crime. But I'm glad he did it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it saved a collision from Denzel.
That's true.
He actually looked out.
Are you friends with Zeke?
I see him every February.
At the Buckeye Cruise.
We talk all the time. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
All right.
So he's kind of washed a little bit. He's kind of out of here. We talked about it. We put it in the chat. Like when we bring it back to the Browns, like Jack Conklin and Jed Wills. I'm just giving you the real. Like when you're a big dude, it is so hard to come back and just start playing. I remember every single time that I went from playing football to basketball. Like, I had no time for conditioning, and I played every single moment of every single snap in high school. Special teams, all of it. Kickoff, all of it.
Special teams?
Yes.
That's abuse.
2 ways.
I'm going to tell you right now, if Jed come back to Commanders week,
he is.
I am going to laugh so hard because that means it's clear as day what he did.
Yes.
But I get it, though. You know what? I do get it from a marketing standpoint. Like, I'm not about to come back and go against the best and think that I ain't did OTAs, I ain't did training camp, I ain't did preseason, and you want me to come right back and play the best?
The team's that stupid to fall for this?
Yes.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
If the player says he can't play, like they can't force him.
I know. I literally know a guy who played corner in the league.
Quarterback.
Corner.
Okay.
He had an injury. He was fine to come back. He said, no, I'm not coming back until I am literally 100% healthy. Like they was like all the trainers was like, he's clear to go. He can play. He said, I'm not playing till I'm 100% healthy.
So this had to be on the Niners.
No. I sat there and I couldn't believe that this was happening. You know what happened at the end of that season? He ended up coming back like the last couple of games. You know what happened at the end of that year?
What?
Signed a contract with that team for an extension. I couldn't believe it.
Had he been
excellent?
I couldn't believe
was it.
Good? How good had he been before that?
We'll talk after the show. I'll tell you.
And you know what Jack Conklin is doing? Yeah. He like, nah, bro, I ain't about to do that. You ain't about to get me up out of here. Like, he looking at Jed like, you want me to come get the smoke? And then when Jed get healthy, you gonna rotate me out because I'm getting smoked? Nah.
So they're both gonna sit on their ass doing nothing.
You gonna have to pick.
So yes or no answer.
Yeah.
I know it's Thursday.
No, they're not playing.
No.
Neither one is playing.
Absolutely. Not even dressing. Not even on the team plan.
Not in case of emergency. None of that.
James Hudson is starting to left
Jumping
tackle.
James Hudson.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. If you missed the Ultimate Buckeye Show yesterday, it's on our YouTube page. Justin Tyvis with their second episode of the Ultimate Buckeye Show. We got all the right graphics and everything in place, so make sure you check that out on our YouTube page. It's up there now. We got a little clip from it and everything. Check out two former Buckeye champions talking all things Buckeyes on the Ultimate Buckeye Show. It is officially 11:55 on Thursday.
By the way,
yes.
Here's the question.
Shoot.
If your two Buckeye teams played each other both in your primes, which team wins?
Which ones?
I can't ask Tyvis. He's biased. Dustin's Buckeye team versus Tyvis Buckeye national championship team. Both champions. They're the last two championship teams. Both in their prime, G. Who you picking?
Man, this is closer than you think. It is very. Y'all had what, Devin Smith?
So all right, quarterbacks. You guys got an advantage.
You had Cardell at the time.
Yeah,
Cardell.
I like him better than I like Krenzel.
Yeah. Running back, I'm taking
Zeke versus Maurice Claret.
I mean, they're both great, but
I'm about to say Maurice was.
In college, Maurice Claret was.
He was nice.
He was ridiculous. So Zeke though, that's tough.
Who's the receivers on the 2000?
They had Gamble.
Chris Gamble's going both ways.
He going both
ways.
Like
offense, defense, not like. Not
I think they had a better defense, and you guys had a better offense, probably, right? Overall.
What was their defense? Mike Doss, Dustin. Who's Chris Gamble?
Yep.
C. Grant.
They had Will Smith.
Will Smith was nice in college.
Yeah.
But y'all had
Joey.
Y'all had both.
What's his name? They had the big white dude who doesn't shower.
James Laurinaitis?
No.
The big white dude.
He used to work on the Browns propaganda
AJ
show.
Hawk?
No.
AJ Hawk was.
Well, they had AJ Hawk. Matt Wilhelm?
Matt Wilhelm.
Oh, Matt Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Hey, put it in the chat.
I think I do like their linebackers.
I like. Put it in the chat. Which team? The national champion is 14 versus 01.
No, 02.
02. There was 02?
I think. They won it in 2000. I mean, I guess 01 to 02.
Yeah.
But y'all, going into those games, y'all was underdogs in a lot of, like, y'all was
our last three games.
Yeah. I mean, the Miami team that Dustin's team beat, everybody thought that was like the best team of all time.
But you got to think, Ohio State to get in had to be Wisconsin,
and
had to put it on them because it was style points.
Yeah, well,
that's true.
And then they got Alabama, and everybody thought that was a wrap.
I thought you guys would get smoked.
And then they had Oregon.
That's sad, boy.
I'm sorry, that's sad. Did you guys go into that Wisconsin game really rationally thinking we have to kill them?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there wasn't no way they
because we was on the outside looking in. We
was
at that. When they did that CFP, we were 6.
Yeah.
Right.
And you had to be in the top 4. I think it was TCU and Baylor was in front of us. So that was like, and
they
we was down to our third string quarterback.
Right, yeah.
And so they had, like.
Florida State should have followed the recipe last year. They blew it.
They couldn't come out there and win 20-14.
Right.
Like, they put 50, you beat them with 52 to something.
59 reps.
That's crazy. And that's the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
And then really kind of, shout out to Steve Smith. I was like, man, he from McKinley. I'm like, how Steve Smith get a pick to the house?
Steve Miller,
sorry. Yeah, Steve. And then, old boy, what's the name? Devin Smith was just fast. Like, he's from Stark County, too.
Yeah, are you putting that poll up?
It's already up. I'll give you the results in a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
I have another question that we're going to save for the end of the show that is along the same lines as that. But the question for this topic, Bull, Simple.
Yeah.
It's noon Thursday. We haven't really talked to any Jacksonville yet. That is the Browns' Week 2 opponent. We'll do a much deeper dive into Jacksonville tomorrow. We have Tony Wiggins joining the show in about half an hour to give us a little more insight into the Jacksonville perspective of this Week 2 matchup. But do the Jaguars scare you at all? Is this a team the Browns, they're underdogs against, but is this a team that should scare the Browns? Simple question.
Scare them?
I don't like the word scare. But
Scare, no. But, I mean, when you think of that defensive line and you think of our offensive line and how it played, yes, there's reasons for concern. But there's also, that's the strength of their team. And they got that linebacker. I think they get 200 tackles a year. I can't think of his name.
Foysaid
that
Olakon.
dude. Yeah, that dude. He get 200 tackles a year. But anyways, outside of them, not really defensively.
Right.
The defensive line is legit and their linebacker's legit. But like I said, their best corner is on IR. And I don't even know who's the other corner. Is it Shaq?
Antonio Johnson and Ronald Darby are their second and third cornerbacks.
Darby's a veteran.
He's been around.
Antonio Johnson's a second-round guy at A&M.
Okay. But here's the thing, guys. I mean, look, in the end, this is not college football where you're playing Miami of Ohio week 1 and there's no chance you're going to lose. I mean, I was going to say the Browns are in no position to take anyone lightly, but nobody is. Even the Chiefs shouldn't take anybody lightly.
Yeah, no.
Man.
So the Browns are certainly on the road in no position to be taking anybody lightly. The Jacksonville Jaguars on paper look like, one of these middle-of-the-road, decent teams.
They
make the playoffs. Maybe they don't. They're certainly a competitive team.
They got a bunch of talent on the offensive side of the ball. It hasn't come together yet.
Yeah. That kid looked good last week there.
Brian Thomas from LSU, the rookie. Him, Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, that's a solid wide receiving core
with Etienne and Bigsby.
Yeah, Bigsby.
It's a nice combo there. They got good talent.
It's there.
Man, you asked me, am I scared? Yeah, I'm scared.
Scared of being 0-2?
I'm scared of the Jaguars, the Cowboys, the Colts, the Ravens. I'm scared of the
Giants.
I'm scared of the Giants. The Baltimore. I'm scared of the Baltimore Orioles. I'm scared of the Yankees. I'm scared of Medina, Lakewood, Rocky River, Avon Lake. Listen, right now, anybody. I ain't seen nothing, bro. My expectation levels. I said 4,500, bro. Right now, 225, and 1 touchdown and 1 pick will look like a KFC 4-piece dinner. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna get some KFC.
Yeah, didn't that hit different?
That's
right. That original. If you go to some of those old, when they still say Kentucky Fried Chicken in the South, and get you some of that original recipe.
Always original recipe.
Oh man, boy,
you know what I always do?
Original recipe.
You know what I always do? I always ask. I say, just give me the thighs and legs. Thighs and legs, baby.
That's it.
I'm a dark meat man.
See, look, super. As we talk Jaguars, I say
eat
right
the
now,
cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Tell me when to go.
They should be playing that in the locker room.
I'm sorry. People. There's gonna be
they
some
don't know
people.
what we talking about.
No. Some people in the chat. That's why I can't stand them. Turn the channel up.
Tyvus brought it up that time. That was so
funny. Jaguars cat. Eat the cat.
I'm just playing. Don't hate us. We like y'all. Look, it's okay.
Some people eat dogs. Some people eat cats.
It's happening. It's happening everywhere right now. It's just as we speak. But look. When you talk about the Jaguars, they got some nice pieces. They got Walker, they got Josh Allen, they got some pieces that can give you some trouble, and I just don't know really what to expect from the Cleveland Browns. As I watched all 22, there's some things where I just didn't know what they was trying to establish, man. To me, I will give credit. What's his name? Oh boy, I'm having
on the Browns.
Jerome Ford.
Oh,
he really did some good jobs in pass protection, right? But that was about it.
All right.
That was about it. Not running the rock.
Fishing for confidence.
I'm trying to be positive.
Let's just call it what it is. It was a terrible performance. Everybody on the team was not great. And if they want to win games, they all have to be better. They have to look each other in the mirror. Yes, everybody should be scared. Everybody's worried. You know what I found though? That Browns cycle thing is really true. You go to the game Sunday, the Browns lose bad. Monday, you're killing them, saying they're the worst team. Tuesday, you get a little bit more positive. By the time you get to Thursday and Friday, it's like, maybe they could.
Everybody picking them to win again.
Maybe they could win this game, and then blah blah blah.
Mike was in the Muni lot. Did you see any of his videos from the Muni lot last week?
I only seen the Donovan Mitchell thing.
Oh yeah, right. That was good. But Mike was interviewing some fans before the game, and they were all like, "The Browns are going to win 44-3." There was a woman who was like, "Yeah, 52-10 or something."
She admitted she was friends with one of the people, or she was dating one of the people I interviewed, and I was like, and she's like, "I don't know football." I was like, "Well, just give me a prediction." It's a prediction.
Yeah, I got you.
So that one I would not take seriously.
44-3.
But most of them were blowouts.
No, I probably asked 36 people.
Yeah.
I could put up 1,000 videos. Every single person picked the Browns. There was not a single, and 9 out of 10, 90% weren't close. It was between 10 and 15 points was the average.
Well, I wonder if you asked them today what they would say.
Yeah, but people will get more positive by the time we get to the weekend. But
17-10, Jags.
You think Jags are going to win?
17-10.
Oof. If the Jags win 17-10, this is going to get ugly next week if the Browns lose this game.
Wait, I don't want to go down that alley yet. Let me ask you a different question.
Yeah.
No. Because seriously, we could go down the whole.
We'll save it.
The Jaguars were up 17-7 on the Dolphins. And Travis Etienne was about to score a touchdown to go up 24-7. He fumbles into the end zone. The very next play, Tua connects to Tyreek Hill on an 80-yard touchdown pass at 17-14. Right. Had that fumble not occurred, and Etienne either just falls down on the 1-yard line, they score.
Jags probably win the game.
Jacksonville most likely wins the game in pretty convincing fashion. They're 1-0, feeling really good entering this matchup. It's a team that needs a win too. Let's just call it.
They definitely
need a win too.
The AFC,
And they started off last year like 9-4. They were one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
Like coming into the game against the Browns last year, where they were in that game the entire way.
Remember, Trevor Lawrence got hurt, right?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence got hurt.
He didn't have a great year last year, but I still think he's a decent quarterback. Not great, but he's a decent quarterback.
He's trying to prove himself this year.
And look, here's the thing I'm alarmed with. And, Bull, you said this. And I'm going to give you a little credit for this. Because when it comes to the defense, we have all had a consensus that the defense is going to be top 1, 2, or 3. But let's just be clear. There are times when defenses take a little bit of a step back where they're not top 1, 2. They're good defense. They're maybe 9, 8 ranked defense. But you really can't project defense like that year to year.
It's so hard.
Because you can't project turnovers, you can't project the injuries, and you can't project the cohesiveness. Defenses, and Tyvus, you know this, you ride waves. Like you ride a motion where there's 3 or 4 weeks where can't nobody throw the ball. There's 3 or 4 weeks where you just getting turnovers. Mm-hmm. And then there's sometimes everybody could be playing well, and it's just one person who ain't doing their job and you get gashed.
Yeah. And you missed one big one, the schedule.
Yeah.
Like you're going to play different teams. Last year the Browns were very lucky to not play a ton of elite quarterbacks. Yeah. This year's schedule is filled with like 7 more really good quarterbacks than the Browns faced all of last year. Doesn't mean the Browns defense can't stop them, but it does play into some of the statistics.
And just chemistry is different every year for whatever reason. Again, to the point I always bring up, when your quarterback is the thing, there's more predictability in a quarterback outside of injury. Whereas a defense, like if you look at the last 15, 20 years, the only defense that sustained that really high level was that Seahawks defense. Even that wasn't. Eventually, it started to break apart. But they did sustain that particularly high level for what, 3 years, 4 years, maybe. Outside of that, are the Steelers usually good defensively? Sure. Are they consistently 1 or 2? No. Mm-mm. Same with Baltimore. No, it's almost like usually the team that's the best defense one year is not the next year.
And it's hard.
But Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback every year. I know Lamar Jackson won the MVP, but no,
And it's hard to expect the defense to just by default carry people.
Right, that's true too.
It's hard to say, hey guys, go out there and don't give up no points.
But that's not fair though.
It's not.
It's not fair because how many points did Dallas score in the second half? 6?
No, more than that. Oh, well, they scored more than that because they had the punt return.
But see, that's not on the defense.
Well,
though.
sure, but you asked how many points they scored.
I'm just asking.
Yeah. So the defense really gave up probably, when I look back, 17 points.
The reason I'm so frustrated with the defense is because they went in, they made checks and adjustments. Second half, nothing. They outside of the punt return, 6 points in the second half because I don't count the punt return. 6 points in the second half. If they play like that for 4 quarters, which that's what you knew going into this season, you knew that offense had not got a lot of chemistry. They hadn't had a lot of time together. They got all these new people in there. You knew the first couple of weeks that it was going to be the defense has to play lights out. And when you talk about lack of communication, lack of attention to detail, when you got that stuff going on, that's how can you do that? How can you know? That's like you asked me about the back at Ohio State when we won 59-0.
Yeah.
We knew we had a third string quarterback going in. We knew that we had to keep them from scoring.
But think about
you know going into the game. So it can't be we ain't talking, we ain't on the same page.
And it turned out he was good and you didn't.
True, but that's not the point.
Zero, but
even I could have played quarterback.
No, but the point is, if you go in with that mentality, okay, now it's a bonus that the offense plays.
Exactly.
Fine, but you can't rely on it.
So I don't know why they went in there and was so, and especially the first drive, they, 3 and out, right? Boom, get them off the field.
So, okay, what if it's this? All right.
Yes, you can get tired.
Playing devil's advocate, right? Say, for instance, you the defense. You've been sold.
Wait, what? You've been sold what?
You've been sold that we good at QB now.
I ain't hearing that.
Well, but I'm just saying, if you think about it.
Don't do that.
So no, hold on.
You know what? You know what? Words is just words. Actions speak louder than words.
But sometimes you can have wishful thinking, right? You can say, well, look, bro, that was last year. He only played 5-6 games. Some of these dudes is old enough to remember what Myles Garrett. Watch, Myles Garrett played against Deshaun Watson in Houston, and I remember that game when Baker went up there and Deshaun Watson tore them to shreds. It was nasty. If you Myles Garrett, you like, I remember what this dude used to look like.
You know what, Joe G? Yeah. In the same breath, Zach Jackson sat right here, and he said that offense looks terrible. I went to every training camp practice, Deshaun Watson, and that offense looked terrible.
Know that.
So guess what? You saw recency what it looked like, and you saw that it was terrible. So if you knew that they was terrible against you, why did you think that they was going to be successful against Dallas? So therefore, yes, I should be out there playing lights out because they need time to figure it out. Especially, and in this game, is really no excuse because your quarterback just went up there and said it might take a couple weeks to find our identity. So y'all better hold them to a goose egg if y'all want to win this game.
If I'm on the Browns defense, if you're on the Browns defense, does that statement rub you the wrong way?
I play defense. I can't really. I'm not concerned with what they do over there.
There's no excuse for the defense because the defense is exactly the same. Yeah, you brought in a few guys.
They rotational people. The starting 11
your
is the
key
same.
guys are all the same.
Oh, okay, that's a lie. They got a new middle linebacker.
Yeah. Right, but for the most part, the defense is exactly the same. The coaching staff there's been minimal change to the Browns defense, and so they shouldn't have any.
I can't believe you sat there and tried to make an excuse for
I just said devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate, my foot.
Look, for the defense?
Yeah.
Oh, well, look, I'm just saying.
They dropped 2 picks in the game.
My thing about the Browns defense is this. You said that they haven't changed much, and which is very true. I'm kind of nervous about that.
That they should have made
because they didn't spend the whole offseason game planning how they going to do it.
Mike McCarthy, I'm kind of alarmed that Mike McCarthy was carving them up like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big Mike McCarthy
and I'm not
guy.
a big, no one is a big Mike, but like the way he was mixing it up like trail mix on you. Like the trail mix, they had CeeDee Lamb. You can't get Tybus.
CeeDee Lamb gave all 3 of them.
You cannot give up 40 yards on jet sweeps. The Browns are the only team in the NFL that cannot figure out jet sweeps. And then on top of that, they're the only team in the league that don't have no communication skills good enough to disguise anything.
Why do the corners not talk to each other? You talk about this all the time. Why is that not happening?
It gets me. It really. You want to see me get mad? Like that really bothers me.
Have you ever seen this before?
No, I don't understand.
Have you asked Denzel about this?
No, I haven't because I haven't seen him. But this is the thing. I don't understand how you can assume that guy knows what you know. Like, that's the thing about being in the secondary. You get the call, and you literally have to talk to make sure that they are on the same page. This safety talks to that corner. That safety then talks to that safety. Y'all communicate everything so everybody knows in the back end that we all got the same call.
Who starts the talking? Who's supposed to?
Doesn't matter. It's the safety. It usually is safety because the safety see the whole picture. The
Richard
corner is in
Sherman,
their own thing.
He would start the talking for you guys. No,
Earl
Thomas.
Earl Thomas. Earl or Cam. Actually, it's Cam because Cam is in the box.
So take us through it. Well,
all right, so
Cam does
all
what?
right, so let's see. If we playing basic cover 3 and they come out in 2x2 and it's a threat of seams, Cam would say. He would make his strong side call. So he would be to the tight end. So if the tight end's to the right, he'll say, Roger, blah, 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 meaning I'm coming down the right side. Mm-hmm. Then he would look and he would make a seam. He'd talk to the safety. Hey, seam alert. He'd talk to that safety would throw it to the nickel. Seam alert. Seam alert means that since I'm the down safety and it's a threat of 4 verticals, I'm taking this man vertically. So that means that nickel on the other side, he can't take his guy vertically because he needs to buzz out. That safety, Earl, will then be responsible for the other seam on the other side. So we all on the same page as far as the corners go.
He says the one thing, and you guys
seam alert. He say he got to tell the safety. He got to tell Earl
gives
seam alert.
Everybody all the information,
and everybody knows everything there.
And that's within cover 3.
That's cover 3. Yes.
Is there ever a situation where where Cam Chancellor's going to say something where you go out of cover 3 and change to something else? Even
once the people start moving and stuff like that, if it starts moving, so say if that tight end gets up and he goes and now it's 3x1, well the seam alert is off. Now we going buzz and he going the other side. Now that nickel is carrying and that other safety is still leaning towards that way. But I'm free. I'm a buzz player. I'm not carrying nobody anymore. I'm a buzz player. But essentially, I'm like an inside piece to this corner over there, which then tells that corner, all right, cool, he's right there, all right, and then I'm going to play this more man-to-man, but I know I got somebody inside.
And when Cam calls out whatever he calls out, what's the thing you said?
It's buzz. It's buzz player.
Okay. Can everybody in the secondary hear it, or do you
it's hand signal.
Okay, I got you.
You know you can't really hear
That's
it.
true, especially in Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good insight. Go ahead, Mike.
And Tyvus is breaking down the blown communication or coverage bust that happened in the first Dallas touchdown on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show WKYC version tomorrow.
Nice.
For us, so make sure you guys tune into that for Coach Tyvus. We're going to talk a little Guardians Bowl after a quick word from FanDuel, which is America's #1 sportsbook. And right now we have a little something different for you guys. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime you want. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download America's #1 sportsbook. Bull, I got to ask you this specifically, and I want to start with you. Obviously, the Guardians got the sweep. You called it. Lane Thomas is getting hot at the right time for the Guardians. Check out the splits from Lane Thomas from August to September. In August, 77 at-bats. September, just 37. But look at the difference. 3 home runs this month, none last month. 13 RBIs this month, 10 more than in August. His OPS drastically better. His batting average drastically better. The player on the right is significantly better than the player the Guardians thought they were acquiring. The player on the left, significantly worse than the player the Guardians thought they were acquiring. So are you buying the turnaround? Maybe not to this level of production, but are you buying the turnaround
100%.
here for Lane Thomas?
I like the move when they traded for him. I said all along, we can't write this guy off after a few weeks. You know, baseball's not like football or basketball where, like, LeBron James doesn't go into a slump for a month. And not that it's fair to compare Lane Thomas to LeBron James, but even like Aaron Judge right now, for the last 2 weeks, he's been terrible. He's hitting like $150 for 2 weeks. You're never going to see an equivalent of that for LeBron James or Patrick Mahomes. It's just like, you might have a bad game. LeBron has a bad game, but he's not going to have like 8 games, 10 games in a row where he stinks.
Yeah, he might have a couple games in a row. Like
when the last time you seen LeBron have a couple bad games?
I mean, LeBron is, you can't compare anybody really to LeBron.
I mean, a bad game for LeBron is like 21,
you gotta say like
7 and 8.
You got to say like Kyrie Irving or something like that.
A bad game for LeBron is just the shooting percentage sucks.
Yeah.
He still scores. But like, okay, Kyrie or whatever. Like, Kyrie's not going to go a month where he sucks as long as he's healthy.
Yeah, right.
True.
And in baseball, even the best players can have a really bad. Like Jose has been a great player. He's been a top 10 hitter in baseball for 6-7 years now. But he'll still have a month where he's batting .210 with no power. It's the nature of the sport. Now Lane Thomas, again, he's not that level of player. So when you talk about Lane Thomas, who's like a good player, a starter, just a nice player, those guys are going to have 2 slumps, 3 slumps during a season. It's just part of the sport. So now his slump was particularly bad.
Was it as bad as Stephen Kwan's?
Yeah. Now Stephen Kwan's has lasted longer.
I mean, Kwan's still in the slump.
Yeah, he did get 2 hits yesterday. Maybe that'll get him out of it.
Wait, where is he at? Is he 296?
He's at 290 right now. Stephen Kwan's stats. Steve, if you want to take that.
That is unbelievable. His batting average is
up
down.
to 290. He's
It's
actually
up because he got 2 hits yesterday.
I looked at this yesterday, Bull. He has fallen to 17th in the league. This was before yesterday. I looked up the current stats.
It hurts my
He had
heart.
fallen to 17th in the league in batting average.
It's my fault.
He's up to
What's funny
14th.
is if you told me on April 1st that on September 12th this would be Stephen Kwan's numbers, I would have been like, good, that's good. Nice season for Stephen Kwan. But the way he's gotten here,
I mean, when you're a hitter that just is okay, I need singles and doubles.
Yeah.
That's what my highlights are. That's
He
hard.
was hitting them out the park.
I'm just saying that's hard to play like that. Like, even if someone like Jose or Judge or some of these other dudes go into slumps, there's still sprinkled power numbers in between those slumps.
Right.
So it don't look as bad. Like, and plus they're still in bases. But if he don't hit 2-3 hits a game, then that's what his contribution is to the team. So it's like
in the first half of the season, he was, as hot as you can be, and then he's just been terrible. I'm hoping the 2 hits yesterday maybe gets him going, but it is amazing that his batting average has dropped 100 points.
That's wow.
At this late in the season, that's just crazy.
He's saving it for the postseason.
Hopefully, yes.
He better. His last 30 days have not been good.
Not good. We have, what's today? Thursday, so we have 18 days left in the regular season. The Guardians have pretty much locked up the division. They've definitely locked, they're going to the playoffs. They're almost certainly going to go to win the division. The Twins did win, but the Royals, who are in second place right now, they lost to the Yankees. Was it extra innings? Or they lost on a walk-off. And now the Guardians come home. They have an 8-game home. That series with Cincinnati is at home, Mike.
And this is 2 weeks in a row Anthony screwed up the schedule.
Yeah, that Cincinnati series is at home.
Gotta get on him.
So that St. Louis series is the only road series they have left. They have 13 of their final 16 games at home. They have, I believe, a 4.5-game lead over Kansas City, 5 in the loss column. Yeah, 5 in the loss column. They would have to completely fall apart in these final 16 games to not win the division.
Let me take a look
Why
at
they
this.
can't win all 16 and win 100 games?
They could. They probably won't, but they could.
That's not happening.
That's crazy because right about the All-Star break, we was talking about they probably could get 100 wins.
They're still going to win. I think they'll win about 95 games. That's a darn good season, winning 95 games.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in the American League is going to win 100. How many wins do the Yankees have? They only have 1 more than the Guardians, right? They're tied?
No, they're tied.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody's winning 100.
What about the Dodgers?
How many?
The Phillies?
What's the Dodgers record? I don't think they're going to win 100.
Dodgers have 87, which is the most in baseball.
Yeah, they might win 100, but I don't know if they're definitely going to win 100.
If the season ended today,
Yeah.
Yankees will win the AL East, Guardian AL Central.
Right.
Astros win the West, Orioles win the wild card. You get the Royals in the wild card and the Twins in the wild card.
Yes.
So they would at this point they would get a bye.
The Guardians would get a bye as the 2 seed. They're very likely. What's the Astros record?
The Astros are 77 and 68.
And the Guardians have
84 wins.
Yeah, the Guardians at worst are going to finish as the 2 seed. Most likely. I'd say there's a 95% chance they win the division, and there's a 95% chance they're either the 1 or 2 seed. The Yankees, Yankees or Orioles will be either the 1 or 2 seed, and the Guardians will be either the 1 or 2 seed. If you're the 2 seed, you get a bye, then you play the 3-6 winner. Mm-hmm. Now,
it may be better for the Guardians to play the 3-6
might actually be
winner.
better for the Guardians to be the 2 seed. Now, here's the perfect scenario for the Guardians.
Okay.
You're the 2 seed, the Yankees get upset.
Well, no, yes. So you're the 2 seed. the 6 seed, whoever that's going to, right now be the Twins, but it could be Detroit, it could end up being Boston, it could be Seattle. Whoever ends up the 6 seed beats Houston. And then the Orioles have to play the Yankees in the ALDS. The Guardians play either the Twins or one of these other teams.
Yep.
And then the Orioles beat the Yankees in the ALDS, so the Guardians would then play the Orioles, and the Guardians would have home field advantage.
That's the big one, the home field advantage for the Guardians.
Yes, if the Guardians end up the 2 seed, then the Yankees and Orioles will play each other in the second round, and you won't have to beat both of those teams. Now, ultimately, they're not going to look at it that way. They're going to want to be the 1 seed to have home field. But yes, it's not terrible if they finish as the 2.
But the last time the Cleveland team decided to not go for it all.
Yeah. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're going to play to the end. But I'm just saying, from an outsider's perspective, it's not terrible if they finish the 2 seed. They got to get a bye. They're going to. They're far enough ahead of Houston. I can't imagine they'll blow that lead to Houston. Even if they play 500 baseball the rest of the season, they're going to win 92 games and be probably the 2 seed, even if they played 500. And considering 13 of the 16 are at home and the only road series is a subpar St. Louis team, they're in good shape to win win more than that. I still think they're going to win 95 games. Mike, they got Tampa and then Minnesota, right? Give me the schedule again.
Don't pull the schedule up because it's incorrect.
Okay.
But I will tell you.
Yeah.
It goes Tampa.
Right, then Minnesota.
Minnesota, at St. Louis, home for 2 against Cincinnati, home for 3 against Houston to finish off.
Right. So they got to make sure they control their destiny with Houston at the end.
That 3-game series at the end could be very big in terms of
it could also be meaningless. Hopefully it will, so they can set. Well, you know what? If the Guardians get a bye, you don't have to worry about setting up your rotation because you'll be off enough days that it doesn't matter. Big start today against Tampa Bay for Gavin Williams because obviously he's been very inconsistent. I'd like to see him pitch well.
3-8.
The Rays just got swept by somebody good. I can't remember who it was.
Rays got swept by the Phillies, who, by the way, Phillies have the most wins in baseball is wrong. They have 88.
At 88, and they have 16 left.
Dodgers have 87 wins.
Yeah.
The Phillies' record is 88 and 58.
So that's 146. They have 16 left.
16 left.
I don't think anybody's winning 100 this year. I think the Phillies got a shot. They'd have to win 3/4 of their games. They got a shot, but anyway. So Tampa comes to town, 4-game set, and then you got to put Minnesota. You can wipe Minnesota right out
by just getting them off.
Yeah, well, you got a 4-game series with them at home next week, Monday to Thursday.
4 games. I thought it was 3.
Right, so, or they can make it interesting.
Yeah, hopefully not. But they seem to be in a good spot. Obviously, we'll follow it down the stretch. And
they said
playoffs coming in a month.
They said 100% chance they're going to the playoffs and 90% chance the odds are that they'll win the division.
Yeah, well, it can't be 100% because they haven't clinched yet. But 99.9. They would have to lose almost every game the rest of the year to not make the playoffs. But they're going to clinch a playoff spot maybe by the end of this weekend. But they still want to win their division, obviously, and they probably will.
How do you and let me just throw this in actually really quickly about this. Yeah. I really think that there's a chance that the Guardians could receive a boost if the Browns continue to start off where they are. I think that the Guardians will receive a boost in overall attendance. I think they'll sell out a lot of, especially when it gets to the playoffs.
Yeah.
If the Guardians are winning and the Guardians are in first or second place, and the Browns continue to do what they do, I think it could be one of those things where you could see for a couple of weeks people literally more interested in.
Yeah, it is possible. Let's hope that. I obviously want people to be interested in the Guardians. We don't want the Browns to be playing to the point where people are not that interested. That would be bad.
If the Browns,
but it is possible.
That's why I'm honest with you, man. This is a very pivotal time for Deshaun Watson and Kevin Stefanski. You don't want to start that whole march down the whole aisle with we're now 0-2 and you look at some of these games coming up, and those games, the winnable games you thought was winnable, now become games where that's why the schedule game's so dangerous.
Yeah.
These games that become winnable or that were winnable that you was chalking up now need to be stop the bleeding games.
Like I said, if they get to week 3 and they 0-3, they lose to the Giants.
Oh my God, they lose to the Giants.
I'm telling you right now, it's they're gonna be spamming the panic.
It's Jameis Winston time if that
They
happens.
spamming the panic button. I'm just telling you.
All right, Mike. We have our guest?
We do. It's going to bring in our guest here in 1 second. But you guys know football is back, which means it's time to order your favorite game day food, snacks, and drinks on the DoorDash app without missing a single play. Thomas, what are your favorite game day snacks?
I'm a wing guy. Chicken wings. Fried hard, all flats.
Well, you can't go wrong with chicken wings on game day. And if you want chicken wings like Tyvis on game day, you better be using the DoorDash app to make sure your game day is situated properly. There's no worse feeling than showing up, watching a game, and not having the proper food and drinks to make the experience all it can be. And right now, if you use promo code LOCKEDONFALL24 for 50% off on the $10 value when you spend $15 on your first order. That's a mouthful. Let me say it one more time. Use promo code LOCKEDFALL24 for 50% off up to $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. It's a limited time offer. Terms apply. Promo is not valid for orders containing alcohol. DoorDash, your door to game day greatness, your door to more. Download the DoorDash app now to order your game day favorites. You must be 21 or older to order alcohol. Drink responsibly. Alcohol is only available in select markets. And with that, let's welcome in Tony Wiggins, the host of the Locked On Jaguars podcast. He joined us last year. We had a blast with Tony. Had to bring him back to help us break down this Week 2 matchup.
How are you, Tony?
What up? Hey, man, I'm good. How about y'all?
Good.
I see the barbershop logo there.
Yeah. I mean, black people all over the place get their hair cut.
Yeah. And guess what?
Did you think I didn't think black people got
34
haircuts?
years? After 34 years, they ain't getting it cut from me no more because I'm done. I retired last week, man.
Hey, we were sitting there talking about like how quickly you could panic about something. Jaguars, they were a play away from going up 24-7, and the game is out of here. And now you're coming into this game against the Cleveland Browns, and it just seems the way the Browns got blown out and the way the Jaguars kind of lost that game. All of a sudden, these games, you're fighting not to go 0-2 in a very crowded AFC, division. What are your thoughts about like this game having much more pressure than you once thought it might?
Yeah, man, you're right about that. I was just listening to what you were saying about Cleveland. If the Jaguars don't win this week, they're going on the road to Buffalo and Houston, back to back. So they got to get it done, man. They are really, and y'all put that picture up there when I was fresh and had my long full man too up. You showing me how old? You showing me how old I got in 1 year, but that's okay. But no. But seriously, they really, really do have to. They have to have a short memory, and I know that's coach speak or. It's pretty stereotypical stuff to say that, but they do. They just like you have to forget the last play. It doesn't seem like the team forgot the Travis Etienne fumble, and then things just started to snowball on them. They have to leave last week, and then come out today. Don't get blinded by that film now, what you saw from Cleveland, and think that it's going to be sweet. This is the NFL. Teams do make adjustments. And it all comes down to teams making you do the one or two things that you don't do well. We found out just today that cornerback Tyson Campbell is going on IR with a hamstring. So now you're going into your depth. You're signing guys off practice squads. They already had some injuries back in the safety area. This is a whole new game, whole new week, a whole new set of challenges. They're good enough to overcome it, but emotionally and mentally, they got to be able to put last week behind them.
Well, Tony, let me ask you that. When you watch this Browns team, obviously it wasn't a great showing from the offense, but is there anybody in particular that you worry about that is a good matchup for the Cleveland Browns offense?
Yeah, Myles Garrett. And I know that's really cliche to say that, but it's the truth. Doug Peterson even mentioned it. He's as good as anybody you'll ever see. And last week in pivotal times, Anton Harrison struggled. And he's a second-year player who I thought had a chance this year to really, really stamp himself as a top 10 tackle because of the way he played as a rookie last year. It wasn't his greatest game last week against somebody else, Ogba. Y'all are very familiar with him, and he used his heavy hands and speed at times. And on the last drive when the Jaguars got the ball, when the game was tied, before Miami got it and drove for a walk-off field goal, the Jaguars got the ball with 3 minutes to go and went 3 and out, and Trevor got sacked twice. That cannot happen in situational football. Therefore, the offensive line, which in my opinion is the weakest part of the Jaguars roster, they're going to have their hands full this weekend.
Tony, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence there. We had former NFL quarterback Sean King on with us yesterday, and we were asking him like why, and even last year and certainly first week of this year, quarterback numbers overall are down, passing yards are down. And one of the things he pointed to was the fact that, forget Patrick Mahomes, he's earned his money, but a lot of other quarterbacks are getting paid that kind of money when they're just kind of average or maybe above average quarterbacks. You could argue that in Trevor Lawrence's case, and maybe those guys are getting fat and happy when they get paid. I don't know. Unfair to say that about Trevor Lawrence after one game, but when you think about Trevor Lawrence, obviously, what are you going to do? There's no better option than Trevor Lawrence, but he feels like a quarterback to me that hasn't proven he deserves that kind of money that he got. Is that unfair?
I disagree with you. I will disagree with you with that.
Okay.
And the reason why now since he's been in the league, he led the league in turnovers. A lot of them are fumbles. And last year, I think we led the league in drop passes. This past week against Miami, they were dropping them again. And I'm not making total excuses for him, because guys that are that good with all of that height, they generally play to a level that at some point you stop questioning whether or not they're going to live up to it. If you watch the game, though, Trevor Lawrence made 2 or 3 throws in that game. I bet you ain't 7 guys in this league can make. And in doing that, they were up 17-3 at halftime and got the ball to come out in the second half. A second half in which he attempted 7 passes. 2 of those were drops, and he dropped back a few more times, but he got sacked. There were penalties that didn't count. And what was happening is the Jaguars were actually gashing Miami in the run game. And I think what Doug Peterson figured was what I thought. You can outplay them all game, and they can beat you with 3 big plays, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So let's limit possessions. Let's continue to run the football. They had 21 passes and 26 runs. On the drive, when Travis Etienne fumbled, they went 96 yards, and he was wide open to run in for a 13-yard touchdown right up the middle, and Javon Holland poked the ball out from behind him. They already had a 96-yard drive earlier in the game when Tank Bigsby was carving the Dolphins defense up. So what they did was just, hey, man, there's only one way they can win. If we turn the ball over and we give up big plays, let's just keep the possessions going, limit their possessions, keep the explosive offense on the sideline. That turnover changed everything. Instead of it being 24-7, it was 17-14. Then the Jaguars fumbled the kickoff and got it back. It was haywire after that, and it seems like everybody kept trying to catch their breath, and before you know it, Miami was kicking a game-winning field goal, and the game ended.
Yeah, we would probably take Trevor Lawrence's stat line over what Deshaun Watson gave us.
Certainly.
What do you make of it? Obviously, there's a bunch of different things off the field, on the field. When you watch all 22, it seems like he's a little bit slow processing. I've asked a lot of different people. I haven't really seen much like it where a player of his caliber has kind of regressed to a point where, he seems to not have that level of confidence. Even in a press conference, and he said it may take a couple of weeks. It may be a work in progress. And I'm talking to Tyvis, hey, you ain't got no work in progress time, man. You want to figure it out early. What's your thoughts on Deshaun Watson, and what do the Jaguars want to do in order to, get him off his spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. One thing I wouldn't do is get past his armpits and allow him to have escape routes, because I think at the end of the day, getting 4 and 5 yards and sliding and creating 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 6, that's not a good place for a team to be in, especially when, like I said, you want to limit another team's possessions and you want to make sure you get them off the field on 3rd down. They can get 2 more yards in the running game, and now you got 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4. And that's never land, especially when a team has good tight ends and good route runners like the ones you guys have. Judy, as well as Amari Cooper, they can come off the line and immediately create separation because of the way they run routes and catch short passes. I just think Joku, I don't know if he's out, but if he is out, that is in Jaguars' favor because last year they had a problem guarding him, and he caught some big passes up in Cleveland, and it's something that they really, really worked on trying to fix. They had some miscommunication last week with their safety, Antonio Johnson. He gave up a big play to Jalen Waddle. That was the second big play after the fumble, and then Tyreek Hill had an 80-yard touchdown. Those three things are the only reason the Jaguars are not 1-0 right now. So I'm a firm believer in keeping Deshaun Watson, making him play from the pocket, and then allowing Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen to do their thing against the injured tackle tandem that Cleveland has.
Let me ask you about those that pass rush that y'all got. I know y'all got Josh Hines-Allen. Y'all got Trayvon Walker, who's coming to his own. But then y'all added a guy by the name of Eric Armstead, who I actually played with the 49ers. Do you think this is one of the best pass rushes in the NFL today?
I do. I think collectively as a group, because it's a lot of it has to do with the personnel you just mentioned, because Eric Armstead got a sack last week. The only one that didn't get a sack was Josh Hines-Allen, but he did get some pressure. But he was also going up against a healthy Eric Armstead, who, when healthy, is about as good a top 10 tackle as this league has seen for his entire career when he's healthy. So I do believe that what you'll see is the rotation system. Sometimes they get caught without those guys on the field. Eric Armstead has played the 3 technique, and then when one of the guys comes out, he slides out probably to the 4-eye. That's the playing over the right tackle. And then the other guy is on the other side, maybe in a 9-wide situation. So they have a lot of mix and a lot of match. The thing about it is they're all long. Trayvon Walker, if you've never seen him in person, you see him in person, you know why they picked him number 1. And regardless of what some people feel about him, the Dolphin, he was the most double-teamed lineman in the NFL last year per the analytics. Coaches don't double-team people that on film don't need to be double-teamed. And people, Mike Tomlin said it, that he's a game wrecker. And while being double-teamed, he also ranked first in run defense for all defensive linemen last week. And then he also got 2 sacks. So he has really, really come into his own, and he does a lot of the ugly work that doesn't show up in stats and that people that watch for fantasy football purposes don't see. He's just a guy that other coaches talk about, and he's very, very violent when he plays. So I look for them, if Cleveland rolls out there with some young guys, Deshaun better not hold that ball, because if he does, he's going to get in a lot of trouble.
Tony, let's break down the Jags from a fantasy perspective. No, I'm kidding. Who do you got winning the game? Who do you think is going to win this Sunday?
I think Jacksonville will pull it out, but I think it'll be close. I think this is a team that's very, very talented. They've improved their receiving core. If y'all haven't seen Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie first-round pick out of LSU, watch him. It's not going to be long before he's considered one of those 10 best receivers in the National Football League. He is so fluid. He burnt Jalen Ramsey in the first quarter, had 2 steps on him, and Trevor underthrew the ball, and then Ramsey had to grab him, and it was a first and goal from the 1. It's like a 50-yard pass. And then later on, he caught what you want to talk about pretty balls. Look at that touchdown Trevor threw to him last week, and tell me you know 7 or 8 people that can make that throw. He caught one in the back of the end zone. I was a little disappointed that the Jaguars didn't forcibly go back to him. They have all of these weapons, and I think they were running the plays that they wanted to run, because the first 2 touches of the second half was Tank Bigsby and Parker Washington. Those are 2 backups. That should never happen. And then they had a 3 and out. They have to learn to go to their bread and butter. They have to understand that even though they want to rotate people on offense and on defense, you have starters and first-round picks and guys making $20 and $30 million for a reason. And those need to be the people that are touching the ball that you depend on when the game is on the line.
Great point.
You mentioned Tyson Campbell being out, Tony. Outside of Campbell, Antonio Johnson, Ronald Darby, a bunch of guys who I guess have been around but not necessarily staple names in the secondary. The Browns' passing offense in week 1, totally understand, mediocre at best, but how did the Jaguars...
Mediocre?
At best, I said.
You shouldn't even...
I'm saying at best, if you're trying to find... My point is...
Man,
Jaguars
I ain't come on here for you breaking up no fights between no guys in Cleveland. Now, y'all fight when I'm gone, man.
We fight all the time. Jacksonville plays a ton of man-to-man coverage. Campbell's their best man-to-man cover guy. He's now out. Do you have any concerns about the rest of the Jacksonville secondary trying to slow down whatever adjective Bull wants to use to describe the Cleveland passing attack.
Sure. You always, whenever you get in your depth, you always worry about it. They elevated Trey Flowers, another veteran that I believe Chris Richard, the defensive back coach, is a little bit familiar with. They brought in another veteran, but they have some guys in development. Monteric Brown is a nice young player. Jarian Jones, a third-round pick, he had a nice play last week early in the game where they lined Tyreek Hill up in the slot. Tyreek kind of hesitated and ran a little, I guess you can call it a wheel route, even though he's a wide receiver. But he left the slot, let things clear out, and then hit the sideline. And Jarian Jones, the rookie, was with him step for step. So they have the people with Darby. They can mix it and match it a little bit. They have Darnell Savage, who they signed in free agency. When you get into your depth, you're always a little weary because what if something happens to one of those guys? And then you have to go further into that depth. But I do believe that with the way that they're going to play, they play a lot of press man. They play a lot of off man where they bail off a little bit, and they depend on their pass rush to get there really, really quick. I expect them to do maybe some blitzes up in the A-gap. The only thing that worries me is if Deshaun Watson throws the ball to the backs and the tight ends a lot, because that was an area where they struggled last year. We haven't really seen that this year. The only thing Miami did, they were throwing to their receivers, and then when they did throw to a back, it was always a quick out, and the back would line up out in a bunch formation, and it was a little quick screen. And they killed the Jacksonville Jaguars with it because they were doing that stuff on 3rd and 9 and were getting 11 yards on that last drive. So those are the things they really have to be careful of, not whiffing and taking bad angles when it's time to tackle. On the Tyreek Hill touchdown, Andre Cisco, the very good safety that they have, took a bad angle. He might have been able to get away with a whole bunch of people, but with Cheetah, you take a bad angle and it's meat touchdown. So, and that's what happened last week. Hopefully they tackle a little bit better, don't turn the ball over. And if they do that, I think because of the problems that Cleveland has, and then with that offensive line being hurt, that's the one unit on any and every football team that can make the whole unit look bad. I mean, it happens here with us. If they can exploit that with one of the strengths of their team, which is their defensive line, that would, I think, help the secondary if those guys stay at home, stay in their lanes, don't allow him to extend plays, and make sure that they don't overrun it when they're trying to get him from the outside.
Tony, great insight. We appreciate you taking the time. We'll
appreciate it.
Talk to you again soon.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thanks a lot.
Tony Wiggins from Jacksonville.
Locked On Jags
he knows
podcast.
That team well.
He dope. Hey, listen, hey, man, hey, shout out to him, man. I like what he was bringing to the table. And, man, he going to be doing big things. I like his style, bro.
I mean, he knows
like
that team inside.
Yeah,
out.
he not playing around with y'all.
I did not know K. Rich was the DB coach. Man, K. Rich was my DB coach in Seattle. He was the defensive coordinator in Seattle. And then when I went to Dallas, he was the DB coach there. K. Rich the one got me together, baby. He know his stuff.
Go. All right, Mike, what do you got for us?
One last read. I got another quick topic, then we'll wrap it up here. But there's nothing worse than starting to lose your hair, and it's even worse waiting forever for it to grow back. That's why you need Hims, and you can start seeing your hair grow back in as little as 3 to 6 months. Hims provides access to a range of hair loss treatments that work all from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted treatment options and clinically proven ingredients that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. They offer personalized, chewable, oral, spray, and serum treatment options so you can find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online. Just answer a few questions with a medical provider. We'll determine if treatment is right for you, and then if prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to your door. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, so if you feel like you're losing part of yourself with your hair loss, get Hims and get your confidence back. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/LockedOnNFL. That is hims.com, HIMS.com/LockedOnNFL for your personalized hair loss treatment option. hims.com/LockedOnNFL. Results do vary based on studies of topical and oral. Minoxidil prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Mike, I just sent you a quick video of Greg Cosell. Can we play that or no?
With Anthony not here, I got to figure out how to put that in tag board. So
all right, let me just read you this quote. So we all know Greg Cosell, one of the best in the business, breaking down the film, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody agree on that? Greg Cosell?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Greg Cosell on Deshaun Watson, quote, "He is just not a very good player at all. Not seeing it, stuck in the pocket. He is difficult to watch right now." That's not great.
No. And
Can't prove it wrong.
Coupled with that, I'm looking at, we just had them on. I'm looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
I don't got a good feeling about this game. I think I'm looking at the roster right now, Tyrus.
17-10, huh? Like I said.
Yeah, I'm looking at the roster. I think they got a massive advantage on our offense versus their defense. And to be truthful,
yeah,
I think they got an advantage on offense as well.
Gee, I've never in the 2 years I've known you.
Man, this is the most down he's been on the
I've never
field.
heard G. Bush talk about the Browns like this.
It is weird.
Listen, look,
You're only as good as the film.
See, that's what I be trying to tell people. When you watch the film work, at the end of the day, there's a level of integrity that you have when you play football, and your integrity is based on the film work. If I was to sit here and say, "Oh, the Browns was balling," Tyvus would look at me and be like, "Bro, you can't say that. I lost respect for you, bro. You play. You. There's no way you can say that." They look at me crazy, bro. I couldn't hang around the people I hang around. It would just be. It would be unattainable. So when I'm watching the film, I'm like, that ain't it. And when I'm talking about the defense, I didn't see it defensively either. When you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, ETN, you watch how they played last week. And then you look at Brian Thomas, you look at Gabe Davis, you look at Christian Kirk. Who would you take? I'm taking their receivers over ours.
Yeah.
I'm taking their running back over ours.
Yeah.
I'm taking their quarterback over ours.
Yeah.
Their offensive line might be a push.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram is better at tight end than what we got.
Jordan Ingram.
That's right.
So I'm looking for the advantages, and when you go on defense, they got three guys that I think are going to be a problem. Eric Armstead, Trayvon Walker, and Josh Hines Allen are going to be monsters. And when you got what Cosell said, when you have a quarterback who is not seeing it well, not seeing open receivers, holding on to the ball, seeing ghosts, and coupled with the fact that he talked about it might be a couple weeks, and they're at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
No.
Let's see it. This is Mike has the Greg Cosell clip. Here we go.
No. Here's Greg Cosell on the Ross Tucker podcast talking about Deshaun Watson after breaking down his tape against the Cowboys.
Right now, he's just not a very good player at all. He's not seeing it. He gets stuck in the pocket. The ball's not coming out. He's a difficult watch right now. And, they said he's going to start this week. They're in a very interesting situation because they have a really good defense. They've got good skill players, although I know Njoku's going to be out for a little bit, I guess, with an ankle injury. But they've got good skill players. Nick Chubb's coming back week 5. He's a top 3 runner in the league. They've got a good O-line. And the other thing is they've got a backup quarterback who's had success in this league. It's Jameis Winston. So if this continues, they're going to have a decision to make because right now Deshaun Watson is not playing quarterback at an NFL starting level. Right now, he's
not playing quarterback at an NFL starting level.
I mean, it's hard to argue against it.
Bro, it's facts.
Yeah.
Like, we want. By the way, I just want everybody to know, too, right, that we get paid regardless of who the quarterback is.
Who?
That's right.
You talking about us?
Everybody. We can have an opinion on what the quarterback is, but if Deshaun Watson is playing, I'm going to break it down. If Jameis Winston is playing, I'm going to break it down. It don't really matter. I don't get no extra credit points or bonuses for being like, oh, I like this quarterback. Hey, look, if you think he's going to do something, every person has a great opportunity to change your mind on certain things. Right now, what he's putting on tape ain't it, and you going to Jacksonville, if people don't like that, guess what? Prove me wrong. You got the opportunity. Yeah. I would love to see it.
Well, we all would. Tyvus, do you have any friends that are still playing in the NFL?
What do you mean?
That are active in the NFL, like good friends, not like,
Yeah, my boy Malik the Freak just knocked Njoku out for 4 weeks, and I'm upset about it. I need to talk to you about that.
Have you asked any of these guys about Deshaun Watson?
No, but I could.
Have you talked
my boy Von Bell?
Have you talked about Richard Sherman about him?
No, but I talked to him today. He's make sure y'all tune in. He's tonight, 7 o'clock. He's gonna be on Amazon Prime Thursday Night Football.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's gonna be a good game tonight.
Tyvus, you got to use your connections, man.
We also got to get Cassell on the show.
I just don't be.
We got to get him on.
We got to fix something because when you play something here, when we have a guest, or if you play something like a clip like Red Cosell, I got to turn my headset volume up, and then when Mike gets on the mic, I have to turn it all the way down to the lowest possible level. Otherwise, it blasts in my ear.
I'm gonna guess that's more of an issue on how Tagboard or News Desk takes in video and leaves it. It's not all right. Not all. I don't know. But anyway. Lastly on Cassell, real quick.
Yeah.
All he does is watch tape. The dude grinds.
No emotion.
Yeah, no emotion whatsoever. When you hear him say something like that, and I want to ask all three of you, then we got super chats. But when Cosell gives an evaluation, does it hit differently than someone else who is more emotion-based in terms of their reaction to what they see in a football field? Like when Cassell says it, knowing where he's forming his opinions from, does it hit any different?
It does for me because I know, like, I've interviewed him a number of times over the years between Bull and Fox, the podcast, whatever. It's just been, I've talked to him a number of times. I'm not friends with him or anything, but I've interviewed him enough times to know, like, this guy, he's not biased. He doesn't hate the Browns. In fact, over the summer when I interviewed him, he was like, yeah, I think, Jed Wills, he never says I think because it's always based on what he sees on the film. He goes, the film tells you Jed Wills is a decent offensive lineman. And I was like, most people say that to me. I'm like, yeah, you're full of crap. But I'm like, well, he's only watching the film. That's all he's doing. And so, yeah, if the guy whose whole job is studying film tells you this guy's not even playing at an NFL starting caliber level, that's pretty concerning.
No, it's just like when you tell somebody, like the government may get a witness and get somebody to flip, right?
What?
Like, I'll give you an example, right? So when the government gets somebody to flip, they put them on the stand. So people will say, well, this is a criminal on the stand. Why would you take the word of a criminal ratting on another criminal?
Right.
Well, generally speaking, and this is the way it works, is they already have corroborating information from other places. They have text messages, film. They got your whole doggone phone record. They got things to corroborate what you're saying. So, okay, if I think Deshaun Watson, there's three ways. I watch the game and live, and I'm like, ooh, that was bad. Then I go back myself. I watched all 22 and be like, dang, I watched all these throws. That was bad. And then when he says it, all it does is corroborate what I thought. So now it's even more like I can really, it's just adding on to it. I go check other people to see what other people think about it. And then once you come into a certain consensus, it sounds stupid if you say anything contrary because you got 17 other people that's doing the same thing as you. That's literally putting the work in with the film. So what are you gonna say?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like you watch it and you, after being a player that knows and plays and sees it, it's like, all right, I can tell you that it's terrible. And then you see somebody else that maybe is a little bit better at it and they say the same thing. And it's like, okay, then we all not crazy. We all on the same page.
We ain't dumb.
To me, it's just confirmation.
Yeah. And the big thing about it is, guess what? The ball was being held a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Right. All right, Mike, wrap us up with Super Chats. Here we go.
Super Chats. Minzy Farts, great name, says, I've been all in on Watson, but let me start over. I've been all in on Watson, but I think he means if it gets. Let me try one more time.
Booked on phonics.
I've been all in on Watson, but. Oh, he is saying F it. Okay. Fourth time's a charm. I've been all in on Watson, but F it. Get this man out of here. Cooper looked like he was done with him as well. Worst games ever. 016 was way better to watch than Sunday. Not a single period, comma, nothing in there. But, yeah, he says, F it, he's done with Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Uber driver says the Browns weren't going to wait for him to go to court. The contract was signed. They wanted it behind him and ready to play. DB Dog 21 says, the question is, why didn't they settle this case 11 months ago when they settled all the other cases? If they knew about this case and what was in it, I would have settled this one ASAP. What do you guys think?
Well, they claim they didn't know anything about it, so how would they have settled it?
Right.
By the way, the Bengals are such a stupid team.
I have two more.
Ran it. Can I say this for 10 seconds?
Because
Cam Taylor-Britt took a shot at
he was talking
Xavier
shit
Worthy. I mean, could you be any dumber? He should have to wear a sign on his head saying, I'm an idiot. for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Now just let
M.
him make sure he
Bynes
performs.
says nobody is talking about the fact that Jim Schwartz isn't doing anything new. Have teams figured him out? We want to go fast, and they know.
Bush
it.
I've been saying that.
said that all week.
I've been all week.
No, we've been all off
off-season.
We said the same thing.
Didn't Jason write a whole article on that?
I don't know. All I know is I've been saying that for about 72 years.
He says nobody's talking about it. G just has talked about it like 3 times.
And last one, Phil Bowman says, "Gee, the leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia, you cannot put the Kool-Aid down. Come on, bruh."
Listen, hey, you got to give me a reason to pick the glass back up. Like, come on. Look, if he goes down there, don't get it twisted. If he goes down there, plays well, throws some touchdown passes.
it's back.
We right back rolling.
Does Phil Bowman have the right to call G bruh?
Yeah, Phil's come in. We love Phil. He's a good dude.
know Phil?
Yeah, he's the one from Arizona. Him and his son came in one day.
Oh, yeah.
No overtime today. Bull has to run. Me and Tyvis have to go upstairs to film Coach Tyvis for tomorrow. So unless, G, you want to do a monologue.
Oh, no, I'm going to take pictures of my shoes.
There you go.
Then no overtime. We're back tomorrow. 90 minutes on YouTube, 30 minutes on WKYC. We'll see you then.
Peace.